So the other week we did a NBA trade deadline preview for the Detroit Pistons. Shout out James Elward III for that information, and he's came up with a second one. But the reason why I'm not doing a part two is basically a lot of it's reiterating the same information. Bojan Bogdanovic is going to require an unprotected first round pick. Al Burks is somebody that the Pistons want to keep, and it's also going to seem like going to have to cost the team a unprotected first round pick for either Bojan Bogdanovic or Al Burks. While Sadiq Bey and Nerlens Noel have garnered the most interest, and right now, from what they're saying is, you know, Sadiq Bey is not available for pennies, but if there's a right offer, somebody could get it. The real thing is in last week's win over the Timberwolves, the veteran center Nerlens Noel posted 4 blocks and 3 steals in the third quarter, which definitely got interested teams even more interested in him, showing that he's still capable of being one of the league's better defenders, not only at the rim, but someone who can switch out onto some forwards. He's got the defensive chops. And Detroit and Nerlens Noel's camp have agreed to find a trade, which will be both for both sides. And allegedly, if a trade doesn't manifest before the February 9th deadline, Noel, who has a team option for $9.6 million, isn't looking to accept a buyout. So it's likely the Pistons will just go into the summer with the plan to not pick up Noel's option, or if they do, use it to accommodate a trade if one is materializing. But James L. Edwards reports that teams most engaged with the Pistons about Noel to this date are the Miami Heat, the Denver Nuggets, and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, what the Dallas Mavericks can offer him, Dwight Powell, and maybe a pick. Okay, that's like they can offer other players, but if I'm the Mavs, I'm offering you Dwight Powell. Expiring contract, you're not playing Noel. We'll give you some second round picks. Okay. The Denver Nuggets is a little bit more difficult. Same thing with the Heat because they don't have as many contracts that would allow them to just one player swap for our man Nerlens, who's making $10 million. Now, if you look at the current roster, it'd have to be a combination of players. Well, that combination, you could get away with Ish Smith and Jeff Green. Would you do that if you're the Denver Nuggets? Because it's more Jeff Green that he's a valuable player who's been in the organization for a few seasons that you know that they value. Now, if you look at the Pistons, Pistons obviously can do that deal. But right here, let's pull it up. Nerlens, though, we're just going to test it real quick right here on Fanspo. But if they do Jeff Green and Ish Smith, I believe the money ends up working unless they're right under. Yeah, the money works, and it says technically the Nuggets would be a little bit worse offensively, -1 win for the Nuggets, but they get better defensively with Noel. So I don't 100% believe that. Now, if you're saying, okay, they wouldn't give up Jeff Green, let's see if they can get away with just doing DeAndre Ayton. I don't believe the money would work, but we'll test it out. And yes, you'd have to. The big problem is that right here, it's so we'd have to include one small contract, and you would have to be able to do this. The next best deal you could send. This deal is the ideal deal for the Nuggets. The Nuggets get Nerlens Noel for DeAndre Jordan, Ish Smith, and Devon Reed. That's a decent deal. DeAndre Jordan, Ish Smith, and Devon Reed for Nerlens Noel. Devon Reed's the only player that's probably of interest for the Pistons. He's got another year on his deal. He's a modern day 3-and-D guy. And then they can just straight up cut Ish Smith and DeAndre Jordan. That's the best deal for the Nuggets. Okay? They literally get a backup center. Ish Smith allows Bones Highland. I mean, you don't even need Bones Highland's already taken over, and Doron Reed. Maybe Peyton Watson gets some minutes. That's not a bad deal. Now you're thinking, if you're a Miami Heat fan, how would you do this deal? It obviously would be Dwayne Dedmon. You trade Dwayne Dedmon, and in this sense, I think you'd have to put Omer year to 7 in here because you can trade an injured player, and that deal actually would not. Wait, yeah, this deal would work. So, yeah, this deal would work, okay? Because, I forgot to add Nerlens to the deal. So let's go. Right here, we need to cut $1 more million. So technically it would not work you'd have to put Haywood Highsmith in this deal. So for this deal to work, okay, ironically, it's pretty funny. Okay, but yeah, right here. So this deal would work if you do Nerlens Noel for Dwayne Dedman, Haywood Highsmith, and Omer year to 7. Which in this deal, Haywood Highsmith and Omer year to 7 would be the two players that the Pistons want. One would argue that this Heat deal is better, but